why am I focused on growing on Twitter and why should you want to build your audience here in 2021? So let's talk about those reasons right now. First, the organic reach and engagement on Twitter is incredible. And I've been on quite a few different platforms. I have an email list. I'm on YouTube. I'm on Facebook. I have my own Facebook groups. I've been on Instagram and Snapchat, and the engagement and organic reach that I see on Twitter just murders all these other platforms for the amount of followers that I have, right? I only have 286 followers here, and I have 109,000 people who have seen my tweets. So the organic reach and the engagement here is crazy high, and you would think it's a new platform for how good the organic reach is. So that's number one. Number two is the quality of information and value that people share on this platform is also it's top notch. It's really high quality. And this does go back to who you follow and who you choose to follow on Twitter. But overall, there's some of the biggest entrepreneurs and billionaires in the world, like Elon Musk. They're very active on this platform, and they're sharing information, and they're sharing value and insights and different things and lessons about their business. So the quality of information and the value and the people you're gonna find on Twitter is top notch. Some of the brightest minds in the world, this is their platform of choice, Twitter. Number three is there is no limit to the amount of followers you can have. So platforms like Facebook, you can only have 5,000 friends. On Instagram, there's no limit. YouTube, there's no limit. But LinkedIn, you also have a limit. I think it's like 30,000 connections, which is kind of high, but there is still a limit. So Twitter, you can have an unlimited amount of followers. And like I said on the first point, the organic reach and engagement is incredible. So just imagine putting a tweet out, and unlike Facebook pages where you're posting and only 1% of people see your post, with Twitter, the reach is still crazy high even for a mature platform. And the fourth reason is they're coming out with a feature that rivals the best feature on every other platform there is. Instagram Stories. Twitter has a feature called Fleets that is just like Story. Spaces is coming on to take on Clubhouse, right? So you guys know what Clubhouse is, that new audio-only app. Twitter is rolling out a new feature called Spaces, which is the exact same thing as Clubhouse. Communities, that's gonna take on Facebook groups. So Twitter is gonna have their own groups and own communities directly in the platform. Super follows, where you can actually pay people, or you can, if you're a big influencer, you can charge people to follow you and see certain tweets of yours. That's gonna rival Patreon, where people are paying creators for their information. They also just rolled out a built-in newsletter platform to rival Substack. If you guys know what that is, Substack, they allow you to create paid email newsletters. Twitter just rolled out a feature to create your own newsletter directly in the platform. And word on the street is Twitter is also testing e-commerce features, which means you could directly buy products right off the platform, products and services. And in this video, I'm gonna show you the exact steps that I took to go from 0 to 1,000 plus followers in just 46 days and how you can do it too. So I have 7 steps for you today to grow on Twitter. Let's jump into the first one right now. Step number 1 is to be interesting. People wanna follow interesting people. So how do you be interesting? Well, do interesting things. So maybe you're working on developing a new skill, or maybe there's a hobby that you really enjoy, or maybe you're building a business and maybe you wanna share your journey, document the journey. Those are all things that are interesting to other people. So as long as there is some other group of people that's interested in something that you're working on, which is most likely going to be the case, you can build a Twitter audience and grow your audience by just sharing content and sharing your journey on what you're working on, right? Something interesting that you're doing. Step number 2 is to pick your 3 main content pillars. Now, your content pillars are everything that you tweet about. All of your content is going to fall into one of these pillars or one of these buckets. Now, how do you pick your content pillars? Well, it's an overlap between something that you're good at or something that you're working on and something that a group of people or your audience wants to hear about. So that's why step number 1 is so important, of being interesting and doing interesting things, because that is going to give you ammunition for your content pillars and what to talk about there, anything that you want to tweet about and create content around. So my 3 main content pillars are email marketing, info products, and online business models. So everything that I tweet about falls into one of those 3 buckets. And you want to think about this as well. What is the overlap between something that you're good at or working on and something that other people want to learn more about? And make those your 3 main content pillars. Step 3 is to build a Twitter profile funnel. Now, what is a Twitter profile funnel? It basically takes someone who they have no idea who you are, they're just finding your profile, to becoming someone who wants to follow and listen to your every move. So the way that mine looks is, I have a bio that talks about who I am and what I do. When someone clicks over, they see that bio, they get interested in learning more, they click over or they scroll down to the pinned pinned tweet, and that shows them a little more in depth of what I do and how I can help them. And from there, they give me a follow. They start to see my tweets. They might join my email list. And from there, they might even buy one of my products or services. So that's a Twitter profile funnel, right? Someone who might just be scrolling through a feed, they might come across your profile, and all of a sudden, within a few actions, a few clicks, they become interested in following you and listening to everything that you have to say. Step number 4 is to have a consistent posting or tweeting schedule. And this goes for any social media platform, right? You need to have a consistent schedule and you need to stick to it. So for me, I post 4 times a day at the same exact times every day. I post at 5 a.m., 6 a.m., 8 a.m., and 5 p.m. on Twitter. Now, sometimes I'll go over that and post more, but at the bare minimum, I have at least those 4 tweets and time blocks booked out every day. Now, I use a tool called Hype Fury, and what Hype Fury does is it helps me to schedule out my tweets so that I'm never scrambling in the morning to type something up and put it into Twitter and make sure that I don't miss the day. So I always have about 3 to 4 days to a week scheduled out using the tool, and it really helps me to stay consistent. So if you're struggling with consistency and struggling with figuring out what to write, I highly recommend you pick up a tool like Hype Fury and schedule out a few days so that you don't have to think about it every single day. Another extra tip that I have is I spend 30 minutes every evening, usually around 5 to 6 p.m., just typing out 4 to 5 tweets. And then I schedule it in a tool like Hype Fury. And in the morning, I'll spend another 30 minutes editing those tweets and cleaning anything up that didn't make sense. So what that allows me to do is type at night when I'm just not feeling too creative. I just want to get my thoughts out on paper. And in the morning, when I have more of that creative juice and energy, I can go in and make sure that it looks polished and clean before it goes out. So if you want to start scheduling out your tweets with Hype Fury, that's another benefit, is you get to sit on it overnight, sleep on it, make sure that you wake up and have it polished off before you send it out. Step number 5 is to engage with accounts that are bigger than you. And this is what I did in the beginning. This really helped me out. Was I found accounts that had 10, 20, 30,000 followers that I wanted to build a connection with, and I found a way to be valuable and I engaged with them. So how can you engage with these bigger accounts? Well, you can like their posts, right? You can make lists of these accounts that you want to build a connection with, and you can start liking their posts every day. You can comment thoughtfully, and that means don't just write good tweet, right? Bring something new to the conversation, a new insight, a new way of thinking, some kind of value to the thread or whatever you're commenting. The third way is to retweet their tweets onto your own profile. And the fourth way, which is my personal favorite after you've been engaging, is to reach out through DMs and find a way that you can be valuable to them, that you can help them out. So that's a big one right there, is to engage with accounts that are bigger than yours and find a way to be valuable to them, because they're going to end up helping you out back by retweeting you and bringing hundreds, maybe thousands of followers to your account. Number 6 is to build your own idea factory. Now, an idea factory is a way where you consume information, right? You're watching videos, podcasts, you're reading books, and you're taking all this information and you're using it to give you ideas for your own content. So how you do that is you need to create some kind of capture area. And I use a tool called Notion, where I capture all of my ideas from everything that I read and listen to in this one area. It's a project management tool, and that gives me ideas for creating content around. So for example, I'll read a book, I'll see an insight that really resonates with me. I'll put it into this idea factory notepad, and I'll use that to create 4, 5, 10 different tweets. And you can do that every single day. So yeah, creation is important, but so is consumption, because by consuming things and learning new things, that's how you are going to get ideas. And that's what this idea factory is having a way to capture all the information you're consuming and turn that into ideas for your content, and in this case, for your tweets. The 7th and final step is to always give before you ask. And this is not just for Twitter, this is for everything, right? Anytime that you are asking someone for something, ask yourself, have you given to them first? Have you given to them 10 times before asking something from them? And I get cold emails and messages every day. Please, sir, please help me. I want your courses for free. I want free coaching. I want all this. Why should I help you, right? Why should I give you all this free stuff and take my time to do that for you if you haven't provided anything to me? So if you want someone to help you, make sure that you've given to them first, whether that's engaging with their posts, whether that's offering to be of service in the DMs, whether that is through providing valuable content, right? You always have to give before you ask, because no one wants to help a beggar. And that's all you really are if you go and ask just people for free stuff. So don't be a beggar. Don't go and ask people for things that you haven't given to them first. And always ask yourself before you go out and request something, have I given to this person 10 times or more first? So let's dive into my computer right now. I'll show you what these 3 content types are, and also examples of my top performing tweets that fall into these different content types and content buckets. All right, so here we are. This is a tool called ilo.so, and I use this tool to track all of the performance of my tweets. So the first content type that's led to me getting over 3,000 followers in 4 months is practical content. And practical content is step-by-step or how-to content where someone can read it and immediately put it to use, right? They can immediately take it and start taking action and putting it into use in their business or their life or whatever it is. So here's an example of a practical style content. If I click on this, this is known as a thread on Twitter. And if I click on this, you can see this is a thread about what I learned from some of the top Twitter growth courses. And so if I go to this thread, I click here, it goes step by step into what they need to do to grow on Twitter the right way, right? Grow an audience. So you can see step 1, here's what to do. Here's exactly how to do it. Here's some examples, right? Step 2 is somewhere here. Here's step 2, pick 3 main content pillars. So I'm telling the person exactly what to do and how to do it in this thread here. Content type number 2, and this is kind of a fun one depending on your personality type, but I call this pot stirring content. Now, pot stirring content is controversial content where you're taking a stance on something that you know is going to get some kind of engagement or might cause a bit of drama or might cause a bit of ruffle some feathers, and it's designed to get a lot of engagement, right? Comments and retweets and likes and just getting people to engage with you. So the one thing about this, you need to be careful. You need to have some finesse when you're doing this. You don't want to just go out and start insulting people and pissing people off. You're going to have unfollows when you post this kind of content because you're taking a strong stance or opinion in one area, and anyone who doesn't agree with that is going to end up unfollowing you. Now, the upside is, number 1, you're going to get a ton of engagement on your posts, and number 2 is the people who do agree with you are going to become diehard fans with you and your message, right? So the people who are on your side become huge fans of yours because they resonate so strongly with whatever stance you're taking. And so here's some examples of pot stirring posts. Here's one that I made recently that got pretty good engagement. If I click on it here, just thinking out loud here, if you're vaxxed, why does it matter if someone else isn't vaxxed unless you don't trust the effectiveness of the vax? Okay, this is going to get some very strong opinions on both sides. And it did, right? 442 likes, there's 35 retweets, there's also 50 comments with people who were really against me and people who were really with me on my side of, you can probably tell which side of this I'm on, but there were strong opinions on both sides. And I did get a ton of unfollows from this, but I also got a lot of new followers from people who did agree with my stance or opinion here, right? So this got 75,000 impressions, a ton of engagement here, comments, retweets, likes, and people also reached out to me through the DMs to share their thoughts, whether they were with me or against me. So content type number 3 that's helped me to grow my Twitter audience and Twitter following pretty quickly is personal content, right? And this could be in the form of lifestyle posts, it could be in the form of lessons you learned, it could be in the form of personal results that you've had. Maybe you're going out and you're losing weight and you're tracking your journey, or maybe you're growing a new business or starting a new business and you're sharing your results there. So these personal posts are designed to show people who you are as a person and what you're working on and the values that you're standing for and the mission that you're on. So here's an example of one I made yesterday. I got married a couple days ago and I made this post here. All it was a picture of me and Jackie, who is my now wife, and we got married at our apartment building, and it's just a picture of us just popping some champagne. And this is my most viewed post now and most engaged post. It got, where are we at now? 204,000 impressions. Over 4,500 people clicked over to my profile. This led to over 400 people becoming new followers so far, and it's still running right now. This was posted less than a day ago, and it's already my highest performing posts. So that about wraps up the 3 content types that helped me to grow to over 3,000 followers on Twitter in just 4 months. Again, those 3 content types. Number 1 is practical or how-to step-by-step style content. Number 2 is pot stirring or controversial content that's designed to get engagement. And content type number 3 is personal style content that shows who you are as a person and the results that you're getting, whether you're in your life, you're working on something in your life or in your business, and also showing your values and your mission as well.